Hi, I've clicked onto today's special tropical tidbit for Saturday. Alright, Darby, meet Alex. I just find this picture so funny, but it's really true of what this year is going to be like. It's like the East Pacific spit out 4 storms. This is their 4th D storm now. And you know, they had Celia and they've got Darby. But you know what? Darby, meet Atlantic's #1. Tropical Storm Alex over here. Look at the size difference. It just dwarfs the poor little thing over here, but it is so true of what we're going to see for the rest of this year, or the East Pacific might spit out a few things and say, hey, look at this, and the Atlantic says, well, you know what, I've got something better. And you can see that the heat is more inclined to build over here, and the Atlantic just has much more energy than these two storms combined ever had in terms of aerial size and overall effect on the synoptic pattern. You can see Alex over here is very well organized now. All the centers are stacked. It's really ramping up over here. Let's zoom in on it on visible. You can see it's spinning very well in here, and the core is not quite greatly organized yet. A quick microwave pass over here revealed that the core was still disorganized. You had two areas of main deep convective cells, but the center is likely between the two, and it's not quite winding up the way you want to see yet for rapid intensification. But this definitely looks a lot stronger than 40 knots. I mean, seriously, this is not a 45 mile per hour tropical storm. For one thing, if you go to the National Data Buoy site, you will see that there was a ship right here reporting 39 knot sustained winds with a 1008 millibar pressure, and there was another ship to the north of it reporting 32 knot sustained winds. Okay, and this is what, 200 miles away from the center over here, and there's just no way that a storm with this kind of appearance and this much organization, look at how healthy this is, and it's not going to have a wind maximum 200 miles away from its center. It's just not. There's no way that the winds in here are the same as the winds out here. You just can't have that. The system is too well organized for that. You can see all the beautiful outflow coming around the system. I love drawing these circles. I mean, look at that. That is perfect. That's just amazing. You can see the rainfall, the rain bands starting to come into Belize and Mexico over here. Let's look at what the models are doing with this. This is the European, which it started out coming up into the eastern Gulf over here with the track, but it has led the way in jamming the models west and forcing them down. It's now leading the consensus. You can see it brings it across the Yucatan, takes into the southern Bay of Campeche. I think I found out that's how you really pronounce that. And you can see it starts to take it on a little bit of a northwest move over here when we get out to, I think this is day 4, and by 120 hours it starts to weaken it and kind of do whatever. It ends up taking it up over here. It does take it on a northwest move a little bit. You can see why is that this trough diving into the east starts to weaken the ridge in here, and you get a weakness, and I do think this is going to pull this north a little bit, but it has this ridge build right back in over the top and force this west as this trough will dig in and then lift out, because the ridge doesn't want to go away over here, and the heat wave for these folks is just going to keep on pumping heat into this area of the world, and these troughs aren't going to want to stay very long. So this isn't the kind of situation where it's going to stay. What is this line? I cannot figure this out. Oh well, you're not going to have troughs staying back here and curving these things all the way up into the eastern Gulf. That was something I discounted from the beginning. If we go ahead and look at the storm, the model tracks over here, you can see the consensus is pretty much going west now, and you can pretty much discount Louisiana. I think you guys are safe. You can probably even discount Texas all the way down to Corpus Christi, because there's probably not much of a way for this to come that far north. I do think this is going to come a little bit north of where the NHC has it. I have this coming in to Mexico at about 25 north. They have it coming in just south of 24. I do think this is going to make a northwest move after it pops out, slow down a little bit, and then get forced back to the west by the building ridge over the top. Now, intensity-wise, this could be a real problem for Mexico. This is the GFS 48-hour 200 millibar forecast. You cannot ask for a better outflow pattern than this. Look at the outflow jet around this area. The storm is going to be in here by this time. That is amazing. That is just really favorable for rapid strengthening. Depending on how organized the storm is after crossing the Yucatan, it has the potential to really ramp up. If we look over here, you can see that, remember we were talking about the core being a little bit disorganized. That is actually a good thing for this system in terms of getting out here in the Gulf, because when you have weaker tropical storms with weaker cores, they don't weaken as much crossing flat land masses. If this was a major hurricane approaching Mexico over here, you would see it lose most of its intensity in the crossing, and then it would take days upon days, or maybe never, to regain its former strength as it heads out into this direction. But since it's a weaker storm, it doesn't have as much of a core to kill, so when it comes across, it's not going to be nearly as damaged as it would be if it were a major hurricane. Now we'll see how strong this is now. The recon plane is going to be in there 30 minutes after I'm done recording this video, so we'll see if I'm right. I just don't see it as only being a 45-mile-per-hour tropical storm right now. It's probably more along the lines of 50 or 55 knot tropical storm. That's 60 to 65 mile-per-hour sustained winds. So we'll see how it goes over here. But when you have an outflow pattern this perfect over the western Gulf of Mexico, you are asking for major troubles as this comes this way. And if it slows down, it's got all this time, water is boiling warm in the Gulf. You've got all this time. It could be a problem. I could see this easily becoming a hurricane, possibly even knocking down a category or two. You could see it being a category 2 hurricane heading for Mexico over here. So they need to watch this really carefully, and so does South Texas. You can't rule out the possibility that this sneaks by to the north and tries to lash the South Texas coastline. I do think this is going into Mexico, but the Texans will have to watch. And the wind field is massive. You know, this wind field extends out a couple hundred miles at least. Remember, the ship report way up here is reporting tropical storm force winds. So you Texans are going to have to watch this for wind and rain. Even if this comes by to the south, you're going to have to watch for some nasty weather next week. Alright, well that's it for now. Thanks for watching.